friends, welcome to day 28 of Inktober 2018. The prompt for today is, you know, those tiny bunny birds from my pumpkin patch had mini eggs and they're ready to hatch. This was actually a prompt kind of sparked off by the idea of what I was creating around Easter time this year, and I had made these little, what I thought were chickens, but then I ended up putting rabbit ears on them, and they just kind of started becoming this weird hybrid creature thing. And I was just kind of taken with this. I did a few of those for Easter, and I really wanted to revisit that. So I tried to come up with a prompt. Also, I noticed that we were going into fall, so I thought it'd be fun to pull a pumpkin patch in there somewhere. Kind of appropriate that one of my more recent videos. Excuse me. Stop it. Did you just hear that? They like went at it under my feet. Now they're in the kitchen. Stop it, Oliver. Leave her alone. Honestly, don't know whose fault that was. It was probably Bianca's. Yeah, so I thought, you know, like pull a pumpkin patch in there and get some of that whimsy ween vibe going on, because I did think, as I was getting later on in the prompts list, I thought, oh, this would be close to Halloween, so let's just get something in there. I didn't want it to be a Halloween piece, but, you know, I was... Oh, are you serious? Oliver legit just collapsed to the floor and pretended like he was grooming. I know that's not what you were doing. Go away. I'm not redoing this voiceover. Like, that's not gonna happen. I'll tell you why that's not gonna happen. Because I just uploaded all the raw footage from the Patreon recap that I did film today, and it is over an hour long. I mean, I have to cut out bits and pieces where I, you know, look at some of my notes and, you know, take a breath and take a sip of water, but it's quite lengthy, it's quite chatty, and I think it's because, I remember I was on here like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was chatting to you guys about just getting really stumbled over the idea of being a bit more candid in that video, and I wanted to present it really concise and, you know, really neat and tied all together and make sure that I wasn't saying anything that, you know, possibly might be interpreted the wrong way. But then I realized the more that I got into it, these topics, if they just make people uncomfortable, they're going to make people uncomfortable, whether I come about, you know, in a really pleasant and around the bush kind of way. Does that make sense? Like, if I beat around the bush, people are still going to be upset about a money talk if they just don't like to hear about money. So I don't think no, I'm not going to say that. I think I got very candid. We'll see how it edits all together. I'm a touch nervous, but at the end of the day, I'm going to put it out there because it's my true feelings, it's my true thoughts. Sometimes I don't think it's good for me to put across this version of myself that's all like super sweet and rosy. If there are some real issues that I see, or if there are some things that just really don't rock my boat that way, I think it's probably better to put that across as well, just so you know, no one's confused as to where I stand. I think a lot of what I put out onto social media is very, you know, like, transparent. I think people can understand where I'm coming from the most part, and I don't have many issues. But sometimes I feel like when I sugarcoat something way too much, it might come as a surprise to someone if I have quite a strong opinion about something, and I don't want to kind of set myself up for failure there, because I am, in essence, in, you know, the real world, behind the computer screen. I'm quite an opinionated person, and I can be quite, I want to say feisty. That's not the word I want to say, though. I don't want to say that about myself. I can be quite impassioned by a lot of different things, and I love to really pull things apart and get really logical and really logistical on things. So it was kind of really difficult for me to pretend like I wasn't, that I could put across that Patreon recap video in a way that would just keep everyone happy. I know for the most part it's actually just quite informative, I believe. It's a lot of the struggles that I had, a lot of the good things that I saw, a pros and cons list, but there are just a few things in that video, money being one of them, and also this idea of self-policing that I saw as this like kind of culture on Patreon. I just know that some people are going to pick that apart and get it quite, I don't know if offended is the right word, but possibly, I don't know. I just don't want to be worried about that. I don't think, you know, that wasn't the point of the video. It's not an expose on Patreon at all. In fact, I did, you know, one of the last things, I tried to do that sandwich technique where I put the last thing that I had to say about Patreon as a nice thing to say. Because, you know, one of the best things that I did think about Patreon, even with the myriad of problems that I saw that could be easily fixed, I do understand that they themselves are growing. They're not like, you know, Patreon isn't Google. They don't have unlimited resources, and you know, even then, YouTube kind of crashed this month, and Instagram crashed last month. So it's kind of expected that websites have glitches and issues and things they could improve upon. But, you know, one of the best things that I said right at the end about Patreon is that they did contact me for a phone call interview. They wanted to, legit, I'm just going to put this out there, I thought it was a scam at the first because they were offering an Amazon gift card, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to get an Amazon gift card to get on a call with somebody. So I kind of ignored it for a little bit, and then I got a like a follow-up email, and they just said, like, pick a time. So yeah, the Patreon actually did reach out and kind of wanted to do a bit of a market research kind of conference call. So I got to speak to two lovely women from Patreon and just tell them about my experience. They were curious to know as to why I did it for 3 months and what the deal was with that and how people reacted to that. And they were also curious to know how I went about setting everything up and what the issues I had with the site were. So I thought that was actually a really good positive. I don't, you know, it's not like I've ever been approached by any other website to give my feedback. You can always, I guess, submit it, but to know that there was actually real people behind there and that they would incentivize it by giving out gift cards and stuff, like they're really committed to working on whatever the issues are. And there have been some changes made to Patreon already since I've left that I've noticed, because I'm still subscribed to the emailing list, and I am still a patron of two Patreons. I follow Ali Brown and Courtney Diaz. And so I think it's just going to be fun to watch what happens, you know, after the fact. I'm very happy with that whole experience. I'm very pleased that it went the way that it did. I think there's totally a time and a place for it, and for me to revisit that at some point. I'm enjoying kind of the break, but I do miss it a little bit. And yeah, so I want to be more candid about it. It's just, it's kind of scary though, right? I've been less candid about less upsetting topics and I've been slammed for it before, so you kind of get this you kind of build up this wall around you when you're putting yourself out on social media, and it's all just dependent on how people have reacted before. You kind of start to shift and change, and you think it's, you know, obviously I try to stay within the realm of only talking about things that I feel like are appropriate, but there's still some like personal opinions that I put in there, and I know that always kind of rubs at least, you know, 3 or 4 people the wrong way. But I don't know if I could if I could actually get through the video without being candid about it. It was really, really difficult to sugarcoat that whole experience. Not to say that wasn't bad, but you know what I mean? Like the issues I had, I wasn't going to say it was a good thing that there was no video hosting on the site. Like that's just a bad thing for me. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't. I'm so curious to see how it edits, let's be real. But yeah, I'm not redoing the voiceover. All of that to say, because it was over an hour of just chatting to this camera, and I don't even know if people are going to make it through it, to be honest. I can't even be bothered to edit it, for real. Like over an hour and I have to sit and listen to myself do it. I mean, I already said it. Goodness, I should have just done it live. Could you imagine? That would have been a nightmare. Because there are a few things that I'm sure I'll try and cut out. I didn't know this about myself, but I can roll my eyes frequently and not notice. Like I don't feel my eyes rolling to the back of my head. I can also have quite a sarcastic and dry sense of humor. So yeah, I've learned the hard way that doesn't translate very well in all cultures. We'll see. Can you tell I'm nervous? In any case, let's talk about Inktober, because that is what we're here for. It is seriously almost finished. I cannot believe it. We got 3 pieces left. I really love how this one turned out. This was probably one of the better versions of all these like lots of grayscale shading that I've done. This is the one that I kind of worked at the most, and I don't think I took it to that place where it looked overworked or super labored. Possibly, I mean, I know there's obviously things I could do better and do again, but I think it was a remarkable improvement for me, I think. That's what I'm going to say for myself in my self-critique today. I love that the little bunny bird is on her hat. I love that they kind of looked like the speckled eggs that I did at Easter. It was kind of exactly the reason I did the prompt, so super gratuitous for myself there. But it was really fun to play with. I love putting things on hats. I don't know why it is. Whenever I feel like I can't incorporate a prop somehow, I think I'll just put it on a hat. Like, I just think that's just going to be what I'm going to do forever now. I think I only started drawing hats when I had just watched Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. There's a title and a half. The Patrick Swayze drag movie, if anyone's seen that. It's such a classic. I love it. But when they have a Say Something hat day, I think I was watching that and I thought, oh, I could draw a Say Something hat, and I wanted to just be like real cute for Instagram or something. And then from then on, I'd always been drawing these little hats, and I can't say always. It's probably been about a year. Has it? No, definitely longer than that, because I would do this on those fashion illustrations. It's been a few years now. A few years. I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm on Etsy. I'm coming up to my 10,000th sale, which I'm really excited for because I'm going to throw myself a party, but not a big one. It's probably just an excuse to eat six donuts or something. But yeah, no, I'm coming up to the 10,000th sale on my Etsy store, and I was remembering back to the first times that I was selling things on Etsy, and when I used to hand make thank you cards. Like, I would paint out a little fashion illustration that was kind of off the side of a thank you card, and I would hand write the thank you personalized to the person I was sending it to, because I would ship out like 1 or 2 orders a week, and I think at most I'd ever had was like 10 orders, and I honestly thought like I'd broken the internet. So I was just remembering a simpler time. I used to put them in just get the envelopes from the store, buy them, individually, and, it wasn't very cost effective, but that's what I would do. I used to print out the labels, the shipping labels from Etsy, but we were not on a label printer, because at the time, and they're still expensive, they're at $170, but I thought, oh, I can't spend that. Like, if I'm only sending out 2 orders a week, why do I need a label printer for? So I used to print it on my regular printer, and I would get this contact paper, kind of the sticky, the adhesive clear covering that you would put on school books back in the day, or perhaps still today. I'm not quite sure what people do at school now. I just assume everyone's got phones. I don't know why. But yeah, I would get the contact cover, and I would individually cut out a size big enough to go over the label, individually cut out the label and stick that on top like that, just to make sure it was waterproof. And yeah, pack it with a personalized thank you. Even when I was starting on YouTube, when I was doing all those Tag Tuesdays, I would give people the tags as I was send out the orders, and kind of put a little note on the back of the tag, or I would just give them away. I haven't done a Tag Tuesday in ages. I feel like I said I should do one ages ago. Maybe I just won't. I don't see myself doing one anytime soon. That must be something I really get in the mood for, and then have to seize the moment. Are there things like that for you, where if you don't do it immediately, you won't do it, but you always think about doing it? The gym. Definitely that for me. But yeah, no, I was just remembering a simpler time back then. It was super funny just to think about that. I obviously wouldn't change it for the world. I love having, I love having the growth of the shop be something that I can support a lifestyle off of. I love that I get to ship out lots of fun products and create new ones. I love seeing people use them all and just have a great time and express themselves. It's a really, really rewarding experience. And but honestly there's the part that I wish I could change. I wish I could still have that super personalized element. And I just, when you just don't think like, oh, if I give it to 2 people, then the rest is going to get upset, or if these people post about it, then everyone's going to ask, well, where's mine? Or they're going to expect one, or they'll, do a bunch of orders and expect it, if I do at least 5 orders, then maybe I'll get one. Like, I just didn't want to start any of that. And I know I could probably try and get away with it, but I'm just not sure. Perhaps, maybe. If you get something in your package, just keep it quiet. I've done that before, actually. I've done it a bunch of times. I'm going to really out myself here, but there have been people that have like really missed out on something that were, we'd been talking about it, or they'd been expressing a lot of interest through my Instagram DMs, and I've sometimes slipped something in the package and just written like, shh. But that's super fun to do as a shop owner. Like, you just feel so naughty, but at the same time you hope they get such a kick out of it. Yeah. Please don't expect that though. I don't want to set myself up for failure here. But so I guess I shouldn't be upset that I'm not doing anything personalized, because there's still a bunch of times that I'll do that. I guess I wish I could do it to every single order is my point. But I'm super happy for the growth. I think it really helps me be able to, especially stay on YouTube. I feel like YouTube is a big job, and it's something that I love to do, but it's really hard to prioritize doing that work when that work won't keep the studio roof over your head. But I'm so lucky that I do have that Etsy part that can keep everything afloat, and Patreon, when we did that definitely helped keep everything afloat. So more time to devote to YouTube. Having said that, I'm going on holidays soon, and I think I'm taking 2 weeks off. Honestly, I don't know if there'll be any content for those 2 weeks. Maybe I'll try and pre-film something, but for now we have this. We have Whimsy Ween, Adam's Family Values sketch flicks tomorrow, and we have the Patreon recap video this week. So all things to look forward to. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye!